All right, so we're going to be working on solving proportions. So a proportion is an equation that states that two ratios are equivalent. A proportion relationship is a relationship between two quantities in which the ratio of one quantity to the other quantity is constant, or in other words, equal. Whenever we're working with proportions, we're going to set them up as a fraction, and it's going to be an is over of relationship. We are going to set them up equal to one another. So one thing's going to be on the top all the way across on both sides, and another item is going to be on the bottom, the same thing on both sides. So in order to solve, we are going to cross multiply, then we're going to divide it. Let's go ahead and take a look at this example below. It says Callie earns money by dog sitting. She earns $112 when she works a full week. $112 and full week are important things in this question that we need to know. The first question, because there's two questions here, says what is the unit rate? And that is what we're going to be finding first. So the first thing we're going to do is write our word ratio, which is where we have the topic on top and the topic on bottom. There's a little note here that says money always goes on top. So since we are talking about money, money is going to be on top. And then the bottom is going to be broken down to days. So a unit rate is finding in how much it's going to cost each day, or how much she earns each day. The next thing is the known ratio, which is what we're going to write out from the question. So the money is going to go on top, so that is $112 on the top of our fraction line. And then on the bottom, we know that a full week is 7 days. The unknown ratio is what we have to set up now. We don't know how much she earns each day, so we're going to put a $sign in X because we don't know how much money she earns each day. And again, both of the money values are on the top. And on the bottom, it's for 1 day. In order to solve this, we are going to follow that method of cross multiply and then divide. So we're going to cross multiply like this. So I'm going to write it right here. If you have some space on your paper, just write it down. 112 times 1 is equal to, and then we're going to do that other side, which is 7 days times X. So 7 times X. 112 times 1 is just 112 and 7x. So we are going to, since we've multiplied technically, because we don't have to multiply 112 times 1, we know that it's going to be 112. Now I need to get that x all by itself, and it's over here with the 7. So since they're touching and since they're multiplying, we have to do the opposite, which is to, divide them. So we're going to divide by 7 on both sides. The 7 cancels to leave our x alone, and 112 divided by 7 gives us a total of 16 for our unit rate. So I'm going to erase this real quick, and pop that up right there. So the unit rate is $16 per day. That's what we found out by cross multiplying these two ratios or fractions in order to get, and then dividing to get our unit rate. So up here where the puppy dog is talking, it says the constant rate of change is $16 per day. As the day increases by 1, her income increases by a factor of 16. So that means for every day that she works, she gets $16. We're now going to look at that second part of the question, which says how much will she earn for 5 days? So now we have to predict what she would earn for 5 days. We know that 1 day is $16 and 7 days is $112. So we should know that our number should be in between those two numbers. Again, we're going to set up our word ratio. It's going to be the same ratio as before because we're using the same pieces of information. So money always goes on the top and the amount of days goes on the bottom. Now for the known rate, we're going to change this to the unit rate, that's $16 per day. So we're going to have the $16 on top and the 1 day on the bottom. For our unknown rate, we don't know how much money she's going to earn in 5 days, so that's where we're going to put our $sign in our X value or our variable. And then on the bottom, the question is asking us for 5 days, so it's going to be 5 days on the bottom. So we're going to go through and we're going to use the proportion solving method. So we are going to cross multiply, so 16 and 5. So we're going to do 16 times 5 down here is equal to, and then what is on the other side, which is 1 and x, so 1 times x. When I multiply these together, 16 times 5 is 80. And then 1 times x is just going to be the letter x. We don't have to include that one there. So technically we are actually done. We don't have to divide here, because if you divided 80 by 1, you would get that it would still be 80. So in 5 days, she would earn a total of $80. Just remember when solving proportions that you need to set them up with the same topics on the top, same topics on the bottom, and then you're going to cross multiply and then divide.